Hey everyone, so this is a new series that I'm trying out. It's experimental. I will be doing monthly tarot readings for all of the different zodiac signs. So feel free to watch your sun, moon, or rising, or all of them if you actually have the time to do that. There will be extended versions and those links will be down below. This is a collective reading, so keep that in mind when you're listening to it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If your sun sign isn't feeling like it's resonating with you, then maybe check out your rising sign next or your moon sign. So given that it's a collective reading and it's not one-to-one, it's not tapping into one exact person. So if you do want something more specific, you're welcome to book with me, but that will also be a link down below in the description. So because this is new and experimental, this is my first set of videos this month, I'd love to know how to improve this and how to make it more valuable and what you guys really think. So please let me know down in the comments as well what resonated with you, what things you'd like to make sure that I keep so that as I'm experimenting with the format that I don't take something out that a lot of you really like. So, and also if there are things that you have perhaps seen with other readers that you have enjoyed and you want to see if I can incorporate that, please let me know. One other thing I want to mention besides all of that is that we are self-determined and not predetermined. And my belief is that the tarot is a really useful tool to have messages or omens come through, which is why I say take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But we're all ultimately making our own decisions. So if you get a message in tarot that has you consider maybe shifting course, or it affirms something for you, great, fantastic. Just know that we all are the masters and creators of our own experience. So take with it what resonates and works, but really give it some thought. And, you know, I'm not a person who advocates for letting any one piece of these types of technologies dictate completely what we do without giving it its proper thought and really sitting with our emotions and deciding for ourselves what actually works best. So just really want to put that out there to make sure that you're considering that as you listen. Other than that, if you want to make sure that you don't miss any of these going forward, please like and subscribe. It helps me to continue to know that this is something that you want to see. I'm also considering doing full moon and new moon readings. I might even start to do bi-weekly depending on what people want. So again, your feedback is what really lets me know how to structure these going forward. So here's to the first month of trying these out, and I look forward to seeing more of you guys. Thanks. All right, Scorpios, welcome to your 2022 February reading. So if you watched the video right before this and didn't just skip ahead, I will be brief about this, but I just want to say that this is a new series. I'm experimenting, so there might be a change in format, and as I go forward, trying to improve the quality and value of this for you guys. So please do let me know, let your voice be heard, tell me what you like or resonated with, what you would like me to make sure that I keep, or if there are certain elements or things that you'd like me to bring in from maybe you watch other readers and there are things that you really like that they incorporate, certain types of cards or certain things like that. So let me know in the comments below so that I can continue to just make this better. All right, that all said, let's get into it. So for Scorpios in the month of February 2022, we're going to take a look at what is happening generally. And that's the general feel. We're going to take a look also at what the challenge is. And also, you guys happen to, oh, here we go. We've got two for you in the challenge position. We're going to get into these individually so that you know that if it's a little bit out of the shot, just so you know, we will get into each one of them specifically and have them all in view. But this is my camera setup for now, for the moment. But I'm actually using a different deck to read for you guys today than I have been using for the other signs. and it's just I go intuitively based on the decks that call out to me. So I'm feeling for you Scorpios, this is the deck that I want to use. So this is what we're going with. We're going to pull all of the cards and we'll go into them in more depth, right? So we're going to take a look at also what's happening overall, what's the general theme for you in the realm of finances and career. Again, these are out of frame for the moment, but they will be all in frame. And the challenge that we have. So we have a lot of challenge cards that are giving us the story. And what is the spiritual advice that's coming through for your career? For Scorpio in February. There we go. Okay. And then we're also going to take a look at, we'll move these out of frame. We're also going to take a look at love. So what is the general vibe, theme for love for Scorpios in 2022 February? And we have a couple of different cards here. And then we'll move into what the challenge is. Challenge for Scorpio with love in February 2022, please. We've got a lot going on for you guys. All right, Scorpios, there's a story here. There's definitely a story with the challenges that you guys are facing. Let's take a look at the spiritual advice for love for Scorpios in 2022 February. All right. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to go through these sections one at a time so that I can put them in frame. We're going to start with the general overall. So I'm currently, the format that I'm using is I'm doing a general and we're doing like career, business, finances, and then we're doing love so that we can actually address the main areas that I find most people are looking at when it comes to readings. So, all right, let us get into it. So, overall, there is this theme for the month of February where it seems like it's been a bit hard won. You've had to go through some trials, tribulations, battles, confrontations, things that feel confronting at the very least. And it's like hard won reaching having the higher ground, right? Having a vantage point, having like getting to a point where it feels like you've won some territory at whatever it is that you're looking at in your life. However, it's like it's not over yet. You're having to really hold your ground when it comes to this. And that takes energy. That takes a lot of energy. And we're looking at the Suit of Wands, which has to do with fire. And that is a lot of energy typically, right? When we're looking at the challenge position, there's some heavy stuff, like either obligations, burdens, whatever it is that you're holding on to of some kind. There's just too much of holding on to too many things at once. You've got to put some of that weight down. You've got to relieve some of the load, delegate it out, let some of it go, whether this is people or projects or whatever it is, right? We're looking at a general reading, so you want to make sure that it's like wherever you feel burdened and like things are very heavy, you need to let that shit go. And then also just like being challenged with strength, right? If you've had to hold, like, win ground, right? You've had to go through things to get to a point that is a vantage point that is holding a space that is hard won, right? You're having to hold the line here. That takes a lot of energy. Now you're holding so much obligation. You're holding too many things, right? That takes a lot of strength and energy. So this is part of the challenge. This is why the strength card is showing up in this position here, right? Ultimately, there is the 10 of Pentacles and being reminded that there is the good life, right? There is the thing that you're working towards, whatever life it is with abundance, finances, career, what you're home life looks and feels like, um, either buying property or whatever it is, like having starting a family, generational things like that, very tangible things like that. Whatever your particular desire is, whatever your vision or dream of this is, it's needing to tap in and remember that this is what it's all for. Right? So we're going to come into, like, there is an extended reading for each of the signs, and the links for that will be down below, for where you can access that. But I'm thinking that we're probably going to get into this a little bit more, right? So let's move to your career and what is happening with that space. All right, so here we're actually taking a look at, let me get this in frame. So here we're taking a look at the overall theme of what's been happening. And again, it's like the same kind of theme, same thing that's been happening with the wands. You've been having to just do battle and really go into things. It's, hard won. You have fought to get to the place where you're at. There's been a lot of energy that's been expended in the realm of your career and finances or projects, whatever they are. There's also some, like, for some of you, there's some shisty energy that's going on here. There's some secrets. There's some, either you're the one holding the secrets or there's somebody else, maybe a business partnership for some of you, or the business that you're involved with, the company, whatever it is, like there is some shady energy happening here. So if some of you have been looking for a sign or affirmation that your instincts or your intuition are direct and on point about this, yeah, that's there. That's something that you're not imagining it. You need to really pay attention and look at that so that you can be clear about it, right? Maybe that's part of why you're actually experiencing this, like, overall. I mean, look at this guy. He's fought hard. He's done battle. He's needing a break, right? So when we look at the other card that we have in the challenge position, it's the Emperor. Now, an Emperor is sitting on, this is very Mars oriented. And if any of you are familiar with astrology and you know what is happening with Mars and Venus actually coming up soon through this month, through part of this month, the kind of tag team that they're going to be playing. But Mars needing to be about that kind of action, very much about taking charge and owning what is there for you to own. The Emperor has gotten to the point of being the Emperor through hard-won battles, through actually having to lose battles, win battles. And you don't get to be, like, if you just lost and won battles, you might be whatever, a general or somebody that's just in the militia. To be a ruler, to be an emperor, you have to not only have that experience, but the kind of mindset where you're paying attention to what is the kingdom that you're creating? How are you serving your community, your public, your people? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What is the world that you're actually creating? And actually having the drive to continue going to create that. So I feel in some ways there is a struggle with the level of responsibility, the burden on the shoulders, especially because of what we saw coming up in the general, right? So the burden on your shoulders, how heavy is the crown, right? The one that wears the crown, so heavy. So all of the things that are on your shoulders about what you're considering. Now, this could be within a company, this could be just because of finances or survival or what's going on for you, but these are all things that are a part of the challenge that's there. We have the Empress that shows up in the position of your spiritual advice, which I think is really beautiful. And so here we have, like, again, I was talking about astrologically, there is this kind of back and forth conversation, tag team kind of energy that's going on between Venus and Mars. And she's a very Venus ruled, you see the Venus symbol right here, Venus ruled card, right? She's all about creation. So, and I think it's really pretty powerful that you have both the Emperor and the Empress here, right? How does the Empress come into power? How does she actually utilize and wield her power? What is the feminine aspect of rulership and of responsibility, right? So how can you step into some of these qualities? Notice that she's actually not just ruled by Venus. Venus is actually, a lot of people don't really think about how Venus is not just about love or attraction and relationships or any of that sort of thing. She's also about, Venus is about the luxuries, Venus is about the aesthetics, Venus is about our finances. And a lot of people don't associate Venus with finances, but yes, definitely Venus is associated with finances. So how are you managing and creating your abundance? You know, she's all about creation. How are you creating? How can you be more conscious about the earthly pleasures, the things that are pleasurable in your life, and not just being stuck in these battles, these hard-won battles? For some of you, I actually feel like there's been some kind of struggle with work, with people, with the people that are inside of your work. Not really, some of you, this is not about enjoying work. Some of you, this is like, you need to maybe possibly look at being in some other field, going off on your own, going rogue if you need to. For some of you, this is definitely like, if you need to separate from the people that you've been in, or you've been thinking about it, or it's been really hard for you, like not enjoying the actual experience for some of you, right? Again, I really want to keep in mind when we're doing these general readings for each zodiac, we're doing sun, moon, and rising signs, right? Sun, moon, and rising signs. And also this is it's a collective reading, so it's really hard for it to be specific and accurate for every single person. So I really just want to presence that and make sure that you keep that in mind when we are looking at the cards that are showing up here, because if you wanted like a more specific reading, much like if you ask somebody what their sun, moon, or rising sign is, like that gives you some information, but you really don't get the specifics until you look specifically at their natal chart, right? So in the same way, when we are reading tarot cards, you're not going to get the same kind of information unless we're doing a specific reading. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me so that we can actually do a personal reading for you. So I want to make space. You have a bunch of challenge cards coming up here, these 4, and then your spiritual advice, right? So let's try and give that some separation. There's a lot going on here when it comes to your love life. One of the main things that I see is like there is this kind of contrast for some of you Scorpios between the equanimity of giving and receiving, and then also the idealistic thing that you want for your relationship overall. So some of you, it's like, okay, at the end of January, we came out of Venus retrograde towards the very end. And in February, we're coming out of Mercury retrograde on February 3rd. So, some of you, depending on when you watch this, it will be happening in a couple of days, or it will have already happened. And that is a time of review. And perhaps in the time of reviewing about communication, relationships, where certain things are going, right? With your life, what you've been reflecting on, you might start to notice that there is an imbalance of power that has been occurring inside of either relationships that you're in, or what you would actually like for the structure of your relationship, right? So this is the distribution of wealth, and this is also about the reciprocation that happens here. Now, I want to be really clear, this is not just about money, although we are looking at the pentacles, right? So that's definitely more earthy energy and very tangible, but wealth is in a lot of different forms. Wealth is, we are wealthy with our time, we're wealthy with our attention, we're wealthy with our talents, we are wealthy with finances, right? With money. So this is not just about how you distribute your time, attention, love, energy, and finances even. Maybe for some of you, you have commitments, people that are depending on you to really be able to be the breadwinner and distribute things in the way that feels even and equal, right? Or there is maybe some kind of imbalance between yourself and your partners, or some of you with maybe families, right? That there might be some kind of imbalance here. And this is actually where you would like to be. So that's why I say there's kind of like this play on either a contrast of, or there is this relationship to what it is that you actually want. This is the good life. When you're talking about the Nine of Cups, it's like, let the libations run free. let the wine flow, or the spirits flow, and good food and good company, and just happy content, right? So this is like something that you've been working towards, or something that you've been wanting. For some of you, perhaps it's the two of these things actually coming together in your dating or relationship experiences. And for some of you, it's more like this is the dream. For some of you, I feel really strongly this is more about the dream and what you're really wanting, and something to look at in the month of February. I mean, I know February has the hallmark, St. Valentine's Day thing going on, which everyone has mixed feelings about that. I feel like people are kind of all over the map. They hate it, they love it, it's an excuse for love, whatever it is. But it definitely seems like it brings love and relationships and connections that are romantic into focus. So that could be why that's showing up as a theme, as like maybe this is more of a focal point. You definitely have the most cards that are happening within this section of your reading, more than any of the other signs that I've done so far. Okay, so when we're looking at this as well, we are looking at what are the challenges that are actually occurring here. So for some of you, it's like there needs to be a period of rest. This is actually kind of what retrogrades can be about, is that time of rest and rejuvenation. You got to fill your own cup to be able to continue with the battles, right? To actually have the ability to be in a space of merriment and celebration. The Ace of Cups is really about this, like wanting this newness, wanting the feeling of the waters to flow freely, to feel free, to experience new, light, beautiful emotions, right? So some of this is a challenge. Some of you have not been actually, like, you've been pushing really hard, and giving, and not really actually taking the time to rejuvenate yourself, and to take the time to consider what is it that you actually want. I apologize for my squeaky floor. I'm sure you guys can hear that in the recording. So just keeping in mind that there is a need for solitude, for quiet, for moments of quiet and peace, for you to actually hear your intuition, for you to feel your feelings and hear your thoughts, so that you can know for yourself what it is that you want to move forward with, what you actually want, right? And we look at like what's actually happening here. Like this is one of the more disruptive kind of you look at the picture and you see the jagged clouds, and there's been a battle, and there's been it's been won. There's some tension that's there, right? After somebody is like a victor and a loser, there's a tension that's there. I like to say with this particular card, one of the things that I like to point out is like, at what cost? At what cost did you actually win? You might have had to go up against certain people or situations that felt confronting. And so when it comes to the realm of relating intimately with people, it's like, are you fighting with integrity? Are you speaking your word? The swords are definitely about like your communication and how we use our words. As are we wielding our weapons with our words in a sharp way? Are we wielding them with valor? So I just like to say that that's something to consider as you're continuing to look at your relationships. And also, I think part of the challenge is like some of you are not feeling this way. Some of you are not feeling the vibe of celebration and all these things. And part of it is because you haven't been giving yourself the proper time to examine or to refill your own cups, right? So some of you are really craving like this energy and not really experiencing it and having a difficult time. The spiritual advice is here to remind you that it's all actually available to you. There is this beautiful offering of building a foundation. It's never too late to start the foundation of a relationship that you want, whether you've been in it for a really long time, or whether that means leaving the relationships you know, that you're in, relationship or relationships, you know, I try not to assume here what relationship structure works for people. So whatever it is that you're inside of, like, there is always the opportunity to start a new foundation. You know, when we're looking at the pentacles or the coins, and as it is in some decks, like, this is actually about that foundational piece. This is the foundation for how you create your world, right? And we're looking at relationships. So how do you want to create the relationship structure if you're in it now? Like, what is the reimagining that you're going to do? For anybody who's actually been in years-long relationships, you know that there are periods of time where you can't stand the person that you have loved so much, or the way that the relationship is functioning and working. And so, you know, there has to be the ability to pivot and to shift gears and re-examine from time to time. Periodically, you have to be able to look at, where are we going, what matters to each of us, and is this, you know, working the way that it is, what is or isn't working, and how do we want to structure or restructure the foundation. And maybe even for some of you, this means starting anew, like leaving this, starting anew, so that you can have something that feels like it's more congruent with these energies here. Okay, so for Scorpios, I feel like it's a pretty powerful message that's coming through. What I like to look at also is the different masculine and feminine archetypes that are coming through in the form of like God and Goddess cards, right? So regardless of what your personal beliefs are, I don't like to impose beliefs on people. So I like to say, like, hey, you know what? You can look at it like masculine and feminine energy, masculine and feminine qualities, like archetypes that are coming through. In fact, I think a lot of people who have studied different pantheons would say that as human beings trying to explore and explain our world, we created these characters, these deities, in order to learn lessons and embody certain attributes and be warned about certain shadows. So we're going to take a look at God and Goddess cards here, and looking more into the shadow. And I know, unfortunately, the term for shadow work has become way overused at this point. But what we're looking at for you is, what are the blind spots, essentially? Said another way, right? Said differently, it's what are the blind spots for the Scorpios for this month of February that need to be looked at? What are the things that trip you up, right? And then that one just popped right on out. We're going to look at some more spiritual advice. What is the invitation for you here? What is there to look at? Like, how can you actually work with this energy? And also, we're going to take a look at what's the overall, like, if we're looking at a map, journey that you're on, journey of life, we could call it this year, we could call it life overall, but what aspect of the journey are we actually focused on for the month of February? Like, where are you on this map? What aspect are we really paying attention to? What are we building or removing? Any of those kinds of things. And then we're going to take a look at one more. And these are seriously my new favorites. So we are going to take a look at a rune and see, sometimes I feel like it's very instructive, the kind of advice, the kind of information that we can get from the runes. I feel like they're definitely very instructive. So this is going to be looked at in depth in the extended reading. So if you want to dive deeper into more guidance around how to make this practical, how to actually utilize the reading itself, like how to move through all these different energies, we're going to look deeper into that in the extended reading. Links for that are going to be down below. Again, please let me know your thoughts, kindly. Please let me know. Scorpios, I know, sometimes can be a little bit sharp sometimes, so please kindly let me know, what do you appreciate, resonate with, or enjoy about these readings? What would you like me to include more of? or any suggestions that you have so that I can continue to improve these as we go forward, because the format is going to change based on the feedback that I get. So, and if you would like a personalized reading, something that is going deeper than the collective themes, but specific to you, there's also a link down below for that as well. So, all right, Scorpio, I hope that you have a fantastic month and are able to drop some of these weights and loads and not have to do battle so much, and can move into some spaces that feel more like the good life, more like creation, and more like creating a new foundation. So I will talk to you next month. I might be doing bi-weekly readings. I might also start doing new and full moon readings. We'll see. I'm not really sure yet, so please weigh in on that, and I will talk to you soon.